Hello guys, this video will show you how to use the surface sculpting mode. So before we get into some more advanced voxel sculpting, we should cover some surface sculpting. So guys, I've got a nice little cheap Hue Ion tablet. Let me show you what you can get if you're looking for a nice tablet. So you don't have to get anything fancy guys, just go into Amazon for example, just look up Hue Ion and you can get something for $40, $37. You don't have to get anything expensive guys here. So if you want to get have sculpting be accessible to you guys, you know, $30 or $40 you get a very nice tablet that has all the things you need. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and click on surface sculpting. I'll just choose one of these things. I'll go into file and import, and I'll go into import multiple objects, just import an OBJ file. Alright guys, I've got this right here. So first of all, we have the scope tree, which shows you what objects are here. So by default, we start with the sphere, and then I import this creature here. So I can go ahead and right click on the volume, the sphere, and we can go ahead and delete that. Alright, remember the hotkey for zooming in on the whatever is in your scene is Shift A. So you press Shift A. So like for example, if I'm zooming far away, I'm out of the way somewhere, I just press Shift A and I'm back on this object. Alright, remember the hotkeys guys. You can pretty much, I like to hold down Alt and then left click to rotate around, right click to zoom, and then middle click to pan. Alright. So guys, you can press W to look at the wireframe. Alright, in order to increase or decrease resolution, you can go ahead and use this right here. Now what's cool about 3D Code is a very interesting thing I've never seen on any other program. It can actually simplify the base mesh beyond even this. Like usually, once you get to the bottom level, you can't go any further, but check it out. We can click on add bottom level, and just keep on doing it, and it just kind of brings it lower and lower. And then I can go ahead and go back to the higher level. And we're back to this. Alright, let's go ahead and add a top level. Essentially guys, that's like a ZBrush subdivision. So as I'm showing you this guys, I'm going to assume that some of you have used ZBrush before. If not, that's okay. But if you have used ZBrush, you're going to use kind of similar ZBrush terms so that you kind of know you're more familiar here. Alright, we can add some more top levels. Alright, let's go ahead and zoom in on this, guys. And I'm pretty much going to go through these tools right here and show you how you can get started sculpting with surfaces. So, first we have clay. Let's turn off, okay, so if you're using the tablet here, my tablet here, pan only has one button unfortunately. It's better if you have like two buttons, but essentially if I hold down Alt and then use the button, if I hold down Alt and then use the button on the tablet, it zooms in. And if I kind of hold down Alt and left click here, it'll rotate around. Alright, so you can go ahead and press S for symmetry, activate the X symmetry, and let's turn off the symmetry plane. We don't really need to see that, we just know that it's there. Alright, so if you're not using a tablet, if you right click and then go left and right, you will increase the size. Alright, if you right click and go up and down, you'll increase the strength. You can see the depth actually. So that's like ZBrush's intensity, here it's called depth. Alright guys, if I use the tablet, I can press the tablet button and then go left and right. I can press that button on the tablet pen, I should say, and then move left and right, and then up and down. Alright, so clay is what's to be expected. This is how you build up forms. You probably find yourself using clay a lot. Alright, next we have clay fast. Clay fast is just like clay, except it's a little bit faster. With clay, it does a little bit of an effect. With clay fast, it's a little bit faster. So if you find yourself with a dense mesh, you'll find that with clay fast works a little bit faster. Alright, hold down Shift guys and then left click to smooth out. Alright, hold down Control to go inside, so to inverse it. So left click to go up, outwards, and then Control and then click to go inwards. Alright, so if you hold down Shift and you start to smooth out and you find that the smooth is just too strong, you go into smooth right here and you decrease the smooth level right here. because whenever you hold down shift, it's going to access the smooth right there. Okay, so now if I hold down shift to smooth, notice how it's not as powerful anymore. So if you find that shift by default is just too strong, you can go ahead and modify that. I want to add another top level here. All right, next we have draw. This is just like ZBrush's standard brush. So this is very useful for, you know, the most basic operations here. For this creature, for example, I would use it for veins or maybe some sort of bumps, like so, adding bump detail, and maybe some certain types of wrinkles as well, and you know, segmented portions, carapace right here. All right, then I would just left click to define it like so, to have like a little bit of a raised edge here. You know, have a little bit of dots here. And please pardon me, guys. It's been a while since I've done sculpting. I mostly do a lot of hard surface work nowadays with Max, Plasticity, other programs. I don't do a lot of sculpting these days. So I'm a little bit rusty when it comes to sculpting, guys. But I would just kind of first define the carapace, segmentation, then kind of go in here and then kind of raise this up. So, all right. Next we have the flat polish. These are the ones that are useful for chipping away things, used for hard surface design, kind of chipping away and getting more angular results here. Now some of these brushes, guys, have extended other variations. For example, Trim Adaptive. Oh, it's way too big. Now let me go ahead and decrease that. So this is a very good brush for adding hard surface damage and chips and things like that. It's also, even if you're working on organic things, it's good for like making things a little more angular, because sometimes you're working and you want like the creature or something to be more angular. You can go ahead and do that as well. Once again, it's just like with clay or with draw, the control hotkey still applies. It just kind of makes it flatten in a different direction. So if I just left click, it can go inwards. If I hold control and then left click, it'll kind of go outwards. So very similar behavior as in ZBrush, guys. If you're used to ZBrush, you'll find yourself using this very easily, effectively as well. All right, we got chisel. Also kind of flattens things out. All right, so guys, a lot of these brushes are very similar. So can you experiment with experiment and see what the small changes are. Next we have fill. This one, guys, it kind of fills in the gap as you would expect. So like there's a mouth here. If I don't want that, I fill it up. Maybe I can decrease the size here. And remember, guys, we can also always go down resolution to make sculpting faster for certain areas. So you can see I just used fill and I filled in that mouth area here. Remember, guys, this is not voxel sculpting, so you're going to get the stretch polygons effect here. Just be aware, if you stretch things out too much using fill, it'll still have the topology problems. Like right here, for example, if I just fill that in there, even though it looks filled up, we still have the topology like this, right? So just be aware of that. The recommended workflow, guys, that I'll show you in the future videos is to first start with voxel sculpting, and then use surface sculpting to add smaller surface details. So if you're wondering, should I use surface sculpting or voxel sculpting? Well, voxel sculpting, guys, is almost like using Dynamesh and ZBrush. It's good for your initial shapes and getting the block out and getting the silhouette. But for the really fine details and wrinkles and smaller pores, you'll go ahead and switch from voxel sculpting into surface sculpting. All right. Build up. Just kind of builds it up right here. It's almost like a combination between draw and clay. Alright guys, our next tools here are extrude and pick and paste, which these tools actually work together. Now if I try and click on pick and paste, notice how nothing happens. That's because in order for this tool to work, you have to delete the you have to kind of delete the other resolution levels here. Now if you look right here, there is no way to delete that. That's because part of this menu here is hidden. And so if I kind of drag this down, you can see we've got some other things here, such as remove multi-resolution. So if you do this, you're going to get rid of the levels. Right now we have 4 levels here, guys. Now we can have more or less. Once you click on that, it's going to go ahead and remove that. And it's just going to be, this will not just be the basic default right here. And now notice if I click on pick and paste, it actually does show up. So here's how it works, guys. First of all, we need to go ahead and create something we want to recreate. So let's say, for example, I go into clay. Let me turn on symmetry again. I go into clay, and let's say I make a little, I don't know, let's make a little scale right here. I'm going to go ahead and use the move tool. I'm going to go ahead and rotate the camera. I'm going to move it out. Like so. Alright, so we're going to get this kind of little scale effect, right guys? There's this little horn, whatever you want to call it. Right now guys, we'll go and pick and paste. And you can go ahead and you can use, for example, the right click or your tablet pen to decrease the size here. And so guys, this is almost like a little, you know, it's almost like if you're in Photoshop, you use the clone stamp tool. So you kind of want to kind of hover over this and get your detail. And you'll see right here in the preview, guys, you'll see what you're capturing. Give it like a few seconds, it'll kind of like highlight what you're going to capture exactly, see? Like right now, there's nothing here because it's all flat. When I move over this, give it a second, boom, that's what I'm capturing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and left click. And by the way, when you're in pick and paste, you can go ahead, by default this is turned off. You can turn on auto switch to extrude. Once you do that, once you pick what you want here, it's going to automatically switch to the extrude tool. And it's going to make, we'll see now, it may have captured a bad one here. So I'm going to give a second here. All right, once you click on it, it's going to go ahead and take a few seconds to process and then switch to extrude. And that VDM, guys, that vector displacement map will now be active here. And this, guys, is a really nice hint, really nice way to, well, mass create complex details. You can spend a good amount of time creating the one that you want, then go quickly and recreate it and kind of save yourself the time having to make all these details from scratch every time, guys. So it's a very powerful tool, extrude in combination with pick and paste. Alright guys, next we got 2 tools, expand and inflate. They're very similar. What I found is that expand is a little bit more careful, whereas inflate, if not careful, you're really just kind of inflate way too much. So I think expand seems to be like a more controlled, careful version of inflate. Next you have absolute, and absolute pretty much is going to move things. Well, it doesn't really go too far. You can see once you set up a height, it kind of just stays there. So it's good for creating those kinds of careful details. And notice how even if I click on this again, guys, notice how it's not even going further. So it's like, it has like an absolute limit right here. So I guess it's very good if you want consistency like that. Alright, next we have some rapid tools here. Rapid smooth, scratches, mud. Let's go ahead with scratches. That kind of like scratches your mesh like that. I guess like if to simulate working with real clay, you have mud. You know, like a more powerful version of clay. And then of course you have rapid. So like rapidly build up your forms. It works much faster than if you're using clay, for example. You know, clay tends to take a lot more time to build up. So clay is very good, guys, like, you know, gradually adding form and muscle fibers, things like that. Whereas, you know, rapid is just for good for like quickly adding form and mass. You have your pinch. This is the equivalent of, for example, ZBrush's knife tool. So very good for wrinkles and things like that. Cuts. You also have roof pinch. You know, pinching things together as you would expect. Don't forget to modify by holding down Control. You have Smart Pinch as well. You have Shift, guys. This is not the same as Move. This is just for shifting things a little bit here. But not too much, because if you do too much, it kind of goes crazy. So this is for making like small little adjustments without having to. It's almost like a more careful version of the Move tool. It's kind of shifting things around here and there. Smooth, of course, you can hold down Shift in any other tool and that will access Smooth. Don't forget, if it's too strong, go ahead and decrease that. I find by default it's too strong at 100. Sharpen, as you would expect, sharpens up the mesh. Actually, what it kind of does is it accentuates. So areas that are pointing out will point out more out. Holes will get more deeper as well. So for example, if I go in here and create a hole, right, create a basic hole there, slight hole, then sharpen will further accentuate that hole. All right, next you have freeze. This is for, well, telling the program what objects you don't want it to, what areas don't want it to be affected. So now if I use something else here, notice how that area is not being affected because it has been frozen. Right, we have snake clay. This is for, just like in the ZBrush, it gives you a snake effect. Let me go ahead and greatly decrease this. So even though, guys, we are in surface mode, what I found is that when you use the snake tool, it's almost like we are kind of in voxel mode when you do that. Because if you just stretch this out and keep going, it will just kind of build up new triangles and new geometry. So it's kind of a strange one, because even though we're not in voxel mode, it kind of acts like it does. So it's useful for creating things like that. You can then combine that, for example, with the expand or inflate tools. If you notice some of the areas here are a little bit too thin here, right? And then we have copy clay. So just like similar to pick and paste, you kind of copy out parts of the mesh. And then you can go here and quickly recreate them. Although it will take some time because of the way it works. Alright guys, that's it for surface sculpting brushes. Thank you for watching and take care.